Mr. Jones, do you oppose hydraulic fracturing?
I'm not in the oil and gas industry, so I don't oppose it. No,
Okay, so you don't have a position in.
I don't have a position on it. Yeah.
Yeah, because one of the concerns that I heard from a gentleman from California is he brought up seismic activity that some have claimed results from hydraulic fracturing. And it seems to me if you're pushing any liquid, and this is not a question, just a statement, it seems like if you're pushing any liquid down there, that if that is actually the case, you could have seismic activity regardless of what the liquid is. Mr. Gruber, where does your agency stand in regards to hydraulic fracturing for geothermal?
Thank you for the question. I don't know that the BLM has a position on that. I haven't seen that presented in the legislation today, and I'm not aware of a position that the administration has taken.
So the Bureau of Land Management does not have a position whether they support hydraulic fracturing for geothermal purposes?
I'm not aware of a position that the agency has.
Mr. Uihlein, I read your testimony, and thank you for helping build America. It's really appreciated, all the work that you've done. Do you support fracking for, regardless of what it is, geothermal, oil, gas, whatever? You do not support it?
Not regardless of whatever it's for. I'm excited about it for geothermal.
Do you, in here it was stated in regard to third-party environmental reviewers, and you mentioned it in your testimony. Do you have any concern that the third-party environmental reviewers might make it harder to be able to get these geothermal projects completed?
No, I'm not concerned about that.
So you're confident that it's not going to put any additional constraints
Right.
in place? To the point that the chairman made earlier, do you think there should have been a NEPA process done in regards to the Floyd Bennett field where they put the illegal aliens before they put them there?
I don't know enough about that to really answer.
And that's fair. That's a fair answer, Mr. Uihlein. Perhaps I'll have my staff follow up with a question and
Great.
give you more context in regards
Thank
to
you.
that. You referenced climate change throughout your testimony. How many lives have been lost as a result of climate change in like the last 100 years?
I don't know the answer to that.
Do you know that it's actually as a result of modern day society over the last 100 years, we've actually reduced the number of deaths by like 98% because of putting in place technologies that actually protect people. We've actually seen a savings of life as a result of these this tremendous oil and gas revolution that we've had in America over the last 150 years or so, ever since it was found in Pennsylvania. You cited melting polar ice caps. Do you know that some of the polar ice caps are gaining ice at this point?
I know that it varies.
And you cite, we will see mass migration of starving, angry people. And then you cite renewable energy as a big part of the solution. Do you support the conversion of productive farmland to these so-called renewables when you're concerned about starving, angry people? I'll cite in the state of Wisconsin, some of the most productive farmland we have in the state is in Dane County, which is near Madison, Wisconsin. And they've been converting farm fields to these wind and solar facilities. Isn't it a concern if we're going to have starving, angry people that we're converting productive farmland in the name of climate change?
Well, the mass migration is coming because of climate change. So I'm not sure that I can fully answer your question. I know why we're going to be looking at it.
So under the previous administration, we did not have a mass migration coming into our country just 4 years ago.
Well, we're at 1C of warming right now.
So I'll just close with this final question, Mr. Chairman. So while we unilaterally disarm by going to intermittent sources of power like wind and solar, and China and India are now going to baseload power, and they're building coal plants, natural gas plants, and all the rest, aren't we putting ourselves at a competitive disadvantage to the countries, in particular China, that seek global hegemony?
I don't think so. I think we're improving the lives of Americans by doing it.
Mr. Chairman, I yield back.